Hey everyone, CyberMatt back with another video, and today I thought it would be fun to rank all 9 Star Wars movies. I've seen a lot of people do these lists here on YouTube, and I've disagreed with a number of them. I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of people that disagree with my list. Mine's a little bit different, but let's go ahead and get started with this. Starting up at number 9, we have, I think everybody knows at this point what I'm going to say, the Phantom Menace. So, yeah. Last Jedi is a bad film, but even though I haven't seen the Phantom Menace in a while, from what I remember of it, it's just boring. It's dull. You know, as with the entire prequel trilogy, the writing's not great. Some of the acting is wooden. The direction isn't fantastic. There's an overuse of CGI. But with Phantom Menace, this is by far the worst of the prequel trilogy. I think with each film it did get better. But this one is boring to me. You know, they talk a lot of politics. As I said, there's overuse of CGI. The battle scene at the end is overlong. The Jar Jar, I mean, I don't have to say anything about that. Just Jar Jar. And it's ultimately, to me, it's a dull, boring film. I like what it sets up. I like the overall story of the prequel trilogy, that Chancellor Palpatine is playing this long game to create the Empire. I like that. But overall, in my mind, it's not a great film. So moving on to number 8, we have what everybody expected my number 9 to be, The Last Jedi. And you know, I struggled with this, making this list, because, you know, I wanted to put Last Jedi at the end because I really, really disliked the film, and to me, it really hurt the Star Wars franchise. But I have to say, there are some things about Last Jedi that I do like. You know, the visual effects are fantastic. The acting is great. There are aspects of the movie, even though I don't like what they did with some of the characters and the plot points, what it led up to was kind of cool, what they did, you know. But yeah, it's still, to me, not a great film. There are plot holes, the writing's not very good, and the pacing issues. It's not a good film. Definitely not a good Star Wars film. So that's why that is at number 8. So at number 7, we have Attack of the Clones. I hate the title of this movie, first of all. When I first found out that people were saying this was a title, I thought it was a joke. I mean, I thought they would just call it the Clone Wars or something, but I really don't know why they went with Attack of the Clones, but there it is. This movie is good for one and only reason for me, and that is Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is fantastic in this film. I like that he's playing kind of this detective in it, trying to uncover what's going on with these clones, and I really like that. And, you know, there are a lot of lightsaber fights in it. You know, we really see a ton of Jedi in this film. So all that makes for a fun movie. It's not a great movie. It still has all the same problems that the prequel trilogy has. But in my opinion, it's more fun than Phantom Menace. And so I like it a little better for that reason. At number 6, we have Revenge of the Sith. This, in my opinion, is the best of the prequel trilogy. And obviously with Attack of the Clones and in this film, we have the forced love story between, you know, Padme and Anakin. And, you know, that doesn't work. Still has the wooden acting. You know, I think that Anakin's turn to the dark side is not done very well at all. You know, him killing the kids, I just don't think that there wasn't enough build up to that to understand why he turned to the dark side. He just kind of did. But, you know, the end of this and the connecting it to the original trilogy, the big lightsaber battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin was great. And so, you know, this is the best of the prequel trilogy. That brings us to number 5, which is Rogue One. I'm still under the opinion that this movie didn't need to get made. You know, we didn't really need to see them, you know, stealing the Death Star plans. And honestly, when this movie was first announced, I thought it would have been really cool if they would have done like a heist movie, but in the Star Wars universe. I thought that would have been awesome. But they wanted it to still have that original trilogy feel. They wanted it to still be very much a Star Wars movie. And I'm just thinking, really, what's the point of doing these side Star Wars stories if you're just going to have it be just like any other Star Wars movie, you know? I do have issues with this movie, though. The characters aren't really well fleshed out. We're told more about their backstories than we're shown, which I don't like. The pacing seems a bit off. It seems we gotta go here, we gotta go to this planet, now we gotta go to this planet, and it's just the way the story is set up, in my opinion, is not great. But the stuff with Darth Vader, fantastic. I love that. The final scene with him, oh man, that is cool. The space battle in it, one of the best space battles we've seen in Star Wars. So there are a lot of redeeming factors with Rogue One, and that's why it is higher up on this list. Coming in at number 4, we have The Force Awakens. Now, I actually really like The Force Awakens. I really want to see it again, but it is so hard now because I know that things are going to get screwed up with Last Jedi, so I don't want to go back to Force Awakens. But Force Awakens is a really fun adventure movie that, you know, really reminds me of the original trilogy and the fun I had, you know, as a kid watching those movies. And yeah, it does have its issues with being way too similar to A New Hope, but I like the characters in this. I like Rey, I like Finn, I like Poe, I like the bromance between Finn and Poe, and I like that. I wish we had more Luke in this movie, but I understand why we didn't for the story. But still, I really like Force Awakens. I do. Moving on, we have at number 3, A New Hope. A lot of people will rank this higher, and I guess I can understand that. This is the first movie and that came out. This started it all. But for me, you know, this movie is just alright. You know, compared to what came after, it's still a really good movie, but I just enjoy the other movies in the trilogy more than A New Hope. And I really don't have much to say about A New Hope because, you know, there aren't like a ton of memorable scenes. I mean, obviously you have some cool stuff with Obi-Wan and his fight with Vader and you know, the final battle at the end of it. But in my opinion, stuff like Empire and Return of the Jedi, there's just more memorable. They're more fun. It has that more adventure feel to them. So that's why A New Hope is at number 3. But still, a great film. I'm not knocking it any at all. So now that brings us to number 2, which is Return of the Jedi. I have very fond memories of watching this as a kid. And the funny thing is, like, I actually like the beginning scenes, you know, when they're on Tatooine and Jabba's sail barge and all that. I love that. It's very reminiscent of the old school serials, you know, adventure serials that, you know, George Lucas was a fan of, that those things that, you know, they kind of inspired a bit of Star Wars, but more so Indiana Jones. But I mean, I really get that feel from the first half of the movie, and I still love the stuff on Endor and the final, you know, space battle and all that. The movie just works so much more for me than A New Hope did, and I really, really enjoy Return of the Jedi. A lot of people don't like the Ewoks. I don't have a problem with the Ewoks, honestly. But yeah, that's why that's at number 2. So at number 1, that obviously leaves Empire Strikes Back. This is my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. I mean, if you try to say any other Star Wars movie is better than this one, you're just wrong. I really love this movie. Oh man, and I think one of the reasons that this movie is so good is because Lucas didn't direct it, and that's not saying that anything bad about Lucas. I just think it was nice to bring in somebody with a more outside perspective on it. But the stuff with Cloud City, the fight scene between Luke and Vader, and the big revelation with that. Oh man, the asteroid field stuff, the stuff on Dagobah with Yoda, it's just very memorable for me. This was my favorite movie when I was a kid. I just loved it, and it's very unique, I think, because at the end of the film, the good guys lose, and I love that. I love that. This is the middle part of a trilogy, and it kind of goes out on a dour note, and I like that. But yeah, Empire, fantastic movie, and that's why that is at the #1 spot. So that is my list, my ranking of all 9 Star Wars movies from worst to best. So definitely let me know what you think of my list, and give me your own list down in the comments below. And as always, like the video, share it, and subscribe. Till next time.